Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first Q&A coming off of the premiere for AMC's brand new Fear the Walking Dead. This one will be leading up to episode 2, which is called So Close, Yet So Far. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for all the awesome questions after the premiere. There's been quite a bit of discussion, quite a bit of buzz around the new show. People are pretty divided. Some people really liked it. Some people thought it was good. Some people hated it quite a bit. I saw quite a few comments and thumbs down in the review video because a lot of people said, like, Trev, what are you talking about? This thing just sucked. And yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit, you know, and kind of our initial thoughts after seeing the premiere, as well as, of course, some thoughts on episode 2. Yeah, so keep sending me your video suggestions. I'm going to make this a couple parts. I think this will be the first part for the Q&A leading into episode 2, and then we'll do some others too. So send me what you guys got for the rest of this week. I'll at least do one more part, probably 2 to be honest, 3 Q&As leading up to episode 2, because there's so much to talk about after seeing a new premiere of a new show with a new feel, and maybe a new audience. Maybe some of the audience for the previous Walking Dead won't really like this version quite as much. And maybe it can find its own kind of audience too. Some people comparing it to like an MTV type of show where you have like teenagers in high school and that. It's quite a bit different from the original Walking Dead, which I am happy for that, because the last thing we want is a clone, right? Is something that's exactly the same and follows the exact same formula and could be predictable in some kind of way. This one, I don't think it's going to be so easy to predict. So yeah, send me your guys' questions, send me your video suggestions leading up to episode 2, and of course the review will be posted on Sunday as soon as I get a chance, as soon as I watch the episode. Yeah, so let's get into a few questions. First one is from OmarGraves. He always asks awesome questions. Thanks again, Omar, for all your great questions and support. He says, hey Trev, this is probably way too early, but any death predictions? And then he puts a question mark. So, man, I mean, this one is like, oh, geez, I think it's too early, yeah. I mean, for any of us really to start making predictions and have any kind of idea at all, because without the comic book series, it's a clean slate. There's just no idea of what's going to happen when, where the story's going to go. You know, are the characters even going to stay in LA? Are they going to be able to get out of there, and where will they go? What will they do? What's season 2 going to be like? Will we see some deaths by the end of the first season? It seems like it. You know, right now I would say probably Nick is probably the one that's in the most jeopardy after seeing the sneak peeks and the promo. Sort of spoiler warning for that. If you guys missed my predictions video for it, you could check that out because we talked about that more in depth. But some people saying they just think he looks like he got bitten, you know, straight up. They're like, no, it looks like a bite to me. So, man, it's tough. Would they put a bite in the promo? Would they screw up that badly and let us see it before we actually see it in the episode? I doubt it. We know his foot was kind of hurt to a degree, but definitely right now I think he's probably near the top. The thing is though, with him, he's already a lot of people are like saying he's their favorite character so far. For me, it's probably Travis right now and Madison. They're my 2 favorites right now. But a lot of people like Nick a lot. Some people compared him to Johnny Depp and kind of the way he plays, kind of the, out there type drunk, but why is the rum gone type of role. So I can see that comparison. I can see that. I think the actor chosen for him, Frank Delane, did a great job. He was a perfect cast for Nick, and yeah, I did like to see him in the premiere. So we'll see what happens. I don't think they'll kill him off this early. There's a prediction for you. I don't think we're going to see any deaths of the immediate family. But one thing that's good about this series, as opposed to the original Walking Dead, is that this one has a lot of core characters right off the bat. Now, the Walking Dead original one, we did get Daryl and the rest of the group coming in and kind of, the mixed group. But this one has like your family together at the beginning, so your broken family, so to speak, 2 families kind of coming together, and then also, of course, it looks like Travis's wife will be coming back with Christopher. So how is that going to work? You have the new wife and you have the ex-wife, and then you have the kids from each, and yeah, so it's got the drama, that's for sure. And there's a lot of characters in that family. It's a pretty big family considering you compare it to the Grimes, where you just have Rick, Carl, Lori, and then of course Shane was kind of like a best friend, so almost part of the family, right? So that's 4. But this one you have you have the two, and then the kids, and then the other side you have another kid, and you have another. So it's pretty big in terms of the characters right off the bat to start with. It gives them a lot to work with in terms of who could be killed off. Some people got some questions. We're going to talk about Tobias here, and maybe if he'll be joining them, and just some different ideas, because it's looking good. But I can't really make any solid death predictions right off the bat, Omar. Maybe we'll do that at the end of the season for season 2. I think that's a good idea. That way we have some kind of understanding of kind of the pacing and where it's going to go and how much they're going to do right off the bat. So far, it seems to be, I won't say slow. Well, okay, I'll say it's a bit slow paced, to be honest. I don't want to upset anybody with saying that, but some people got upset because I didn't, talk about that enough in the review, that it is pretty slow paced. 2 zombies for a premiere. It's not that much to see in terms of, like, not on TV or on tablet or something. 2 actual zombies in the environment is really not that much. So for a premiere, I was expecting more. So for that, yeah, I can see that. So we'll get into that in a bit. Next one's from Cyber Sunday 07. He says, do zombie movies, shows exist of any zombie movies or shows? Like fiction stories, etc. Because every freaking character in every zombie movie in history doesn't know how the hell to deal with them. LOL. I think in Z Nation they have some idea. I'd have to look through that again. But there are certain ones, like Ash vs. Evil Dead and that. There's certain ones where they have an idea. This is my boomstick and all that good stuff. Okay. Yeah, I hear what he's saying. It kind of feels weird that it's like a modern day society, but yet they have no concept of, like, horror anything. It's like even the teenagers, how many horror movies there are? I mean, there's lots of movies from different genres, but with horror in particular, there are so many horror movies. It's unbelievable, because you can do them with a really low budget. They're pretty easy to make. You can do it with a house and some creativity. If you look at Paranormal Activity and stuff like that, I mean, the budget for these movies is not that much compared to Avengers or some of these big Hollywood big budget movies. Horror movies can be done with relatively low budgets if you're using practical effects, unless you're using CG. But he's got a good point where it's like, doesn't it feel weird that, like, nobody knows what a zombie is, nobody knows what any of these things are, ghouls or whatever. Yeah, they kind of get it though, and Nick was pretty quick to respond when he ran over Calvin. So some people, I guess, are a little bit more ready to kind of have kind of dealt with more out there stuff. Some of the older people might need a little bit more time to adjust and kind of understand what's happening, as they get older and more set in their ways than that. Not as open to craziness happening. But yeah, it is kind of weird, I would say, that they kind of have no idea. And they talked about that in the promos and the previews for the show, that we would have more idea, obviously, than the characters in the show not having gone through Zombie 101. Some people like that. Some people hate it, because it's like, we already know that, so we're not establishing anything. And we saw that with the Calvin guy who was shot and then turned. Some people I saw in comments were upset about that, because they're like, do we need to see that again? We already know that from the original Walking Dead. So okay, next one is from Abenali, and he says, also, just one question. Do you think that we'll see any references to characters in the original Walking Dead? So I saw also some comments, people talking about, that it would have been cool to see maybe Rick on a TV screen or something, officer shot in Atlanta, something like that. But would it be realistic? I don't know. I don't think the news would cross over or anything like that. And I haven't seen any references so far. Maybe I missed. I don't know if there's any Easter eggs. I haven't really seen any that made me think right away of the original. So I think they're purposefully kind of moving away from that. But I think eventually we'll start to see some. That was something that was conflicting in reports. Some reports said they wouldn't do it at all. They want to stand on its own. Kirkman said that. And then on the other hand, we did see some other online rumors that we would see some characters either cross over or something like that. Which, again, that's online rumors. That's people on the internet just talking, right? You don't know for sure with that. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so this next one is from gbnf and Mr. Xenomorph 123, as well as a few other people too. A lot of people were confused about this one, so I decided to put it in here. And it is, how do we know that Madison wasn't bitten by Calvin? She has some type of clothing on her hand and wrist. However, when I rewatched the scene, her face showed a pain response when it happened. I wonder if Travis will be strong and adaptive enough for what's to come. It's not really the walkers that will be the issue. Yes, they suck and are scary scary. However, once they realize how to kill them, it won't be so bad. The dangerous part will be how to deal with other alive humans after martial law fails. And we got to see that a little bit too in the promo. You got riots and stuff like that breaking out, and I do agree with you, especially in a city like that. It's going to be pretty tough. So if they're going to be able to get out of the city, we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's a good idea. I probably wouldn't stay in a big city like that in a zombie apocalypse if I could help it. That said, trying to get out of there could be too dangerous to do as well too. So it's a tough call, right? It's a difficult decision to make. But yeah, so for the first part, I wanted to include this because a few people seem to be talking about this. From the promos and that, we can see that Madison's fine. She's fine. And if you watch it really slowly, what it is Calvin comes up and he starts to look at biting her, but then Travis gets in between and pushes him back, basically, is what happens. So even though her face may have kind of looked like that or whatever, she had clothing on too as well, right? So yeah, I mean, human teeth biting through jackets and stuff. Even if you go for broke, you still may not be able to break through and pierce the skin underneath that easily, depending, if you want to be realistic with it. So they wouldn't kill her off like that. So no, I'm sure she'll be fine. So I wanted to put that in there because a lot of people seem to be confused with that one. Aussie Zero says, don't want to be that guy, but this show's about zombies, but we only see 2 zombies so far. This show is not as good as Z Nation. So I just had to put that in there because I thought that was funny. It's like, really? Well, there's no zombie babies, that's true. And there's no, what other crazy zombie hurricanes, zombie tornadoes, zombie, I don't know, whatever else, craziness. Well, wait for Z Nation. It'll be on in a couple weeks, right? It won't be that long. It'll be here pretty soon. So, yeah, that should be fun. I'll do reviews for that as well, too, of course, as you guys know. But yeah, I did want to comment on this too because a lot of people were disappointed with it. And I would say that, yeah, they probably should have opted to put more zombies in. But it's not really a show about zombies. It's actually a show about the survivors in a zombie apocalypse, really. That's what Kirkman pretty much says anyway. Most of his interviews, he says about the survivors, not really about the zombies. The zombies are kind of there like a force of nature, to kind of just drive people to crazy points to see them do crazy things. Similar to Breaking Bad, if you look at Walt and his set of circumstances, he decides to do some crazy things as a result of his situation. For some reason, this show, Fear the Walking Dead, makes me think of Breaking Bad a lot. I don't know if it was the drug angle at the end with the gun in that, or the way it was shot, or if it's just the environment. The environments are not that similar, but I don't know. For some reason, it just does. I'm not sure why. But yeah, it depends what you're looking for. It depends what your tastes are. If you like a lot of action in that, you may not necessarily like Fear the Walking Dead as much right now. But we'll see how it ends up because there's quite a few action sequences in the trailer that we didn't see in the first episode, and I thought we were going to see a lot of that stuff in the first episode. There was a lot more zombies in the original Walking Dead premiere, that's for sure, with Atlanta and all that. Some pretty cool epic scenes in that, the horseback and all that, so riding in, so that's cool. All right, let's do one more. Let's see how we're doing for time. Yeah, one more. This one's from Paul Thacker, and I've got some other questions, so I'll definitely do another part. Send me the rest that you guys have. Hey, Trev, what character or characters would you like to see more of in Fear the Walking Dead? I like Tobias, and willingness to believe that crazy shit is happening is an important skill in the zombie apocalypse. I hope he doesn't get eaten in episode 2. Yeah, I agree with you. I do like that character quite a bit. I'm hoping also that he does survive because I think he's interesting in terms of his mindset. I like how smart he is and everything, and he's kind of fearless too. You bring a knife to school like you're a kid, but you bring a knife to high school. You got to have some balls to do that, to be honest, because you got to be scared, of course, to get in trouble. So. Yeah, I hope he does survive, and characters like to see more from. I'm most excited to see what they do with Travis at this point, I think, because the actor they chose for him, he's had a lot of different roles. The guy, Cliff Curtis' experience is crazy, but he can play, like we're seeing him as kind of like your atypical high school teacher, good guy type character right now. It was about as much as you could think of in society as one of your good type people would be like a high school teacher like that, right? But he also has been in some other movies where he's played some shady roles. He's played some darker roles. He's been a villain so many times, and he's done a lot of everything. So I'm really excited to see what they do with him and how he transforms over the years if he survives, and I think he will, at least for a while, because he's a big actor. That's one way to go if you want to be smart about it. Think about who the big actors are in the show, and a lot of times those would be the ones that will probably survive for a while, right? Or at least a little while. Yeah, so I think I'm most excited to see what they do with him in the future. But I do like Tobias; he's a cool character. Who else do we have aside from our main core ones? I think that's about it. I mean the family and all that, but. Yeah, I would say I would go with Travis or Tobias. I think they're both cool. So, yeah, I'll call it here for this one, guys, for today's. Of course, more to come for this week before the premiere of episode 2. And I am excited. I'm looking forward to it. I guess we'll talk a little bit more because I had some questions about how I felt about it in terms of disappointment, people being upset in that, saying it's terrible and that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later this week, I guess, in some of the further Q&As. But... Yeah, I'll give my thoughts on that later on, and kind of where the audience is at. That way also I can take another day or two to kind of gauge where everybody's at with it, because it's not black and white. People are kind of all over the place in this one. Some people loved it, some people liked it. I'm in a like category. I'm not in like a blown away love type category for it like I am with the original Walking Dead, but I'm still in a like category for it. I did like it quite a bit. Some people hate it, some people thought it was just okay but a little bit boring. So write what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll talk about the next Q&A. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share, please favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, be sure to subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for today's Q&A. I'll see you guys again real soon. As always, this is Trev. I'm saying peace.